2018, we're up to the flag time. Do you remember grand final week? Do you have any memories, any reflections on that week?
Yeah, I remember. So starting from the prelim final, I remember rocking up to Optus that day and being so nervous, and speaking to Don Rashid out in the game. And, you know...
During the game?
Before the game and out on the field. And I looked at him, you know, giving him the crisis look like, you know,
the crisis look.
You know, like, and sort of expecting him to give me the same look back of, you know, this is just too much for me. And I sort of said to him, mate, are you wigging out? Because I'm tripping. And he just said pretty much, mate, who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? Like, you know, we'll try our best, but at the end of the day, like, you know, it's sort of out of your control a little bit. Like, just rock up, play role, it's all good, same as normal. And it was like, all right, all good, yeah. And that was the most nerve-wracking game for me in the whole of my whole life, because we were up by 12 goals.
Yeah, do you even touch the ball?
Quarter. I touched it a lot early, and then I didn't touch it again, and that's why I was nervous, because you just know that you're right there. You're just about to play in a granny, and you know it's just about to happen for you. If everyone doesn't get too excited about the fact that that's happening right now and keeps playing their role, and you know it was the old, we cannot lose this. Like, please,
potentially,
please,
out
please.
of the moment.
Out of the moment.
You're in it. Whereas you're that far in front, you almost.
Yeah, it's
like
70
40, 48 points.
I think you think you got in the first half.
Nah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was like 70-3 or something.
So surely you're
at halftime. Well, that's the thing. It's like, that's not how it works. Like, the competition is so tight. Any sort of, we've had 5-minute periods where they've stacked on 6 goals, you know, shaping off the half back, just coming at us, and lots of times. And so, you know, you just know how quickly it can turn, and that's why it was such a nerve-wracking game for me.
Do you want another water?
Yeah, I'd love another water, please.
Yeah. It's parched.
But let me continue that. So we had that game, we won it, and it was a bit like, wow, we're going to granny, and how good's this? And, you know, you think about, because we went there in 15, and you think about all that other stuff, like your family and how they're going to cross and flights and everything. And so the club were good in quickly addressing that and saying, boys, like, you know, here's the plan. The plan is to meet at this time, discuss it, was sort it all out, all good, forget about it. And going into the week, I remember still being quite nervous because, you know, we're playing in a granny and it's huge. It was, especially pre-premiership, like I spoke about, mindset. This is the pinnacle, you know. This is the solution to my fulfillment, right? It's the AFL premiership. And so, thank you.
Sammy, what a guy.
Man, Sammy.
And so I was quite nervous, and I remember, not eating much Monday and Tuesday, and Kennedy got up, and same with Simo, and they had a chat to us, and Simo, I suppose, got everyone to shut their eyes and said, boys, just shut your eyes for a second and just imagine the metal around your neck. Imagine, you know, the tug of just behind your neck here of what it feels like, and the silk, and you know, feel it in your hand and feel what it would feel like to have one on and for it to be yours, and then park it. No more thinking about that. No more thinking about that medal. And Ken has sort of got up afterwards and said, boys, we're going over there for a game of footy. You know, there's all the grand final parade and all this sort of stuff, but we're going over there for a game of footy. And he changed the language from embrace it, embrace the week, boys. You know, it's a big week. It's all this stuff. You got to embrace it to just accept it. You don't have to feel any way around it. It doesn't have to be positive. You can be nervous. You can be annoyed that you haven't done captain's run yet. You know, like, this is completely different to a normal routine, but you don't have to feel any way about it. And I think changing the language from embrace the day and the week to just accept it and understand what it's there for, that's what made a big difference for me.
Yeah, because you at 2015, what did you do for the 2015 grand final? Like, what was your involvement in that?
My involvement was I went to the casino the night before and won $800 on roulette. First time ever.
There was a gang of young guys in 2015 that I know were told just stay out of the way of the boys that are playing because
Right.
pretty much don't be seen, don't be heard, just shut up. And they did.
And they're told exclusively, like, you will not be playing, just don't cause a stir.
Yeah.
Correct. Like, don't be running around the hallways. You're going to be staying...
We're a different hotel, yeah, completely.
Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Different
But really, it was just
hotels.
rock up and watch. That was all.
Okay.
And
So, like, his experience in 2015 was nothing. It was going to the casino, right? Whereas mine and Josh Kennedy's and Shannon Hearn and guys that have played in 2015 and lost badly and prepared poorly and gone through the week just floating along, had this drive that I think helped these younger guys of exactly what TB's talking about, is changing the talk from embracing it, which was just like, how good's this? Like, hey, all your family chatting to you about tickets and everyone's your mate and everyone loves you and it's 100,000
some
people.
history.
Yeah, history, and you're going to win. And that was embrace it. And that's what happened in 2015. And it was we got embarrassed. And you forget with all the week of new things that 2015, you're there to win a game of footy. And when you don't win it, all the stuff that happens before, you look back on and you're like, that sucked. Like, no fond memories whatsoever. I have no fond memories of 2015. None. Like, they pop up on my iPhone, like,
Yeah.
photos in the back of doing the parade. Like, wish that was deleted. Wish that didn't exist. So 28, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that for you then, like being someone more on the outside of 2015, did you see how that unfolded compared to 2018 and go like, oh, this is different, like this is business now? Or like, I don't know, you're winning $800 at the casino the night before. That's different to...
What were you playing?
I was playing roulette, yeah, and I just got lucky, sort of 3 in a row, doubling down at the end. Yeah.
Sorry, not your question.
Yeah. No, but that's fine. Like, so do you then see like, oh, I saw how they acted in 2015. This is different. Like, this feels different, or was it just...
Look, it definitely felt different, but that was from an outsider's perspective. I only played 3 games, and it was of that era where Scoey was talking about, where you're a young player, there's probably a couple injuries, you're not really up to scratch yet, you've got some strengths, as anyone who gets to AFL does, but you're not a bona fide AFL player, and so I don't think I was truly in the spirit of the team as much as someone who'd been travelling all year, so I probably can't make that comment on how it felt. But in 2018, there was a certain special thing going on, and we were really focused on playing our roles, and we were really tight, and we just knew that we were going to win.
I'd love to hear... We have to get someone who was on that Collingwood squad from 2018.
Degoe. We got to get Degoe.
Because...
Got to, don't we?
Because we've heard...
Mason Cox? We could do Mason.
No. we've heard the
What's Jordan, not Mason?
we've heard the perspective of West Coast, like, you know, especially after 2015, it's business. Like, this is so different. To then, it'd be interesting to hear someone from 2018 Collingwood,
Yeah,
and their perspective. on it.
I'd agree. I've seen some live footage of like their 3/4 time address, for instance, and
There's a very
different.
There's a very good YouTube video
Yeah.
of Simpson and Buckley
Yeah.
talking to the team, going through the motions of that game. It's very good. But anyways,
Yeah, I mean, like, I think
because every team must feel the same, boys. This is it.
Yeah, I think Buckley's message, and this isn't wrong, but his was, this is our destiny. Like, we are here to win this, and this is what we're meant to do. Where ours wasn't really that. Ours was play your role, and then it'll take care. The result will take care of itself, and that was a bit on the mindfulness that we were kind of doing that year in terms of being present and worrying about the moment rather than worrying about the result. Whereas I think they were their messaging was about the result, about winning the grand final, which
They were predestined to do it.
which I mean they were less than a goal away from doing it. So you can sit here and say, "Oh, this is the wrong thing." Well, it wasn't, because she doesn't kick the goal from the boundary.
And you're
On the
next.
boundary, and I don't win the game for the. You know, I don't do what I do. And Tom
What's your perspective? 'Cause I mean,
My perspective
before we get to the
is-
moment of the match,
Okay.
to the grand final morning, the lead up. Any memories? How were you mentally coming into? The game?
Mentally, I knew what I had to do on Mason Cox, and I knew that, you know, it was a granny that I was playing in, and really what got me through that time was thinking, this is just going to be over soon. You know, like, there's so much at stake, and you're under so much pressure, and you've been waiting all week, all season, all your life to play. it was like the clock's ticking. It's fine. You know, I'll try my best, but in 3 hours at 5 o'clock or whatever the time is,
win or lose,
it's done. It's win or lose. There'll be a result, and I'll know that if I do my job for that time and try my best, then I can't really feel too bad about what that result might be.
I remember Mason Cox was up and about. I think he
torched Richmond.
He grabbed a few snags.
Alex Rance, go down as a big
very
time
defender.
Towed him up, kicked 5 goals.
Yeah. I think was it in the grand final that he like took a couple of snags, kicked a couple of goals early, and he was like giving these to the crowd.
That was the prelim. Tom kept him to 1 kick in the first half. So Tom's role on grand final day was playing Mason Cox. We were pretty role driven in that period of time.
He's a tall boy.
One kick he had in the first half and maybe 1 mark. But he finished the game with 2 goals and 7 marks.
Yeah, he got hot. He certainly got hot. Yeah, I can't just deny. And I think Mason's a good player. I think he's got a strength that is really hard to combat. And maybe that's the way I match up on him. Other players do a good job sometimes and, you know, gets a hold of Rancy. So that's just footy. But yeah, I suppose my role was to do that, and I knew that it was going to be all right if I did it, and I knew that I had my boy Scoey behind me talking to me, and I knew that I have Gov there to help me out, and I think they knew the same. They knew that if Cox was in a bad position, I'd be coming back as hard as I could.
Any memories from the game before the siren? You know, like in terms of throughout the game.
Yeah. So there's probably. Wow, there's lots of them really, but yeah, Cox obviously got some heat up, and I had to sort of change the way I played on him again, and then I got a few touches, which is rare as a key back, and I remember thinking, nah, it's all good, I'm back, and I should regress. There was one moment, people always ask, you know, you're down by 5 goals or whatever, crazy, yeah. How'd you feel?
Yeah.
And the truth was, you know, not bad at all. We were in the game. It was all sweet. And there was only one time I thought about it, and the ball spilled over the back at a forward 50 entry. And Brody Mychek's running into the goals, ball's bouncing around, and he sort of dives, soccers it. And I was about 1 metre away from it. And I remember thinking when he kicked it vividly, if this goes in, we lose. I can't win. It's going to be, 40-1. It's done. And so I remember thinking that, and it went through the points and thinking, geez, lucky. And there's another moment that I remember is when they started chipping it around with about 3 minutes to go. Yeah. They've got an intercept. I think Howe took a good intercept. Yeah. Their defenders played really well that day. And he took a good intercept, and they started chipping it around, and I remember thinking then, because you don't know, it was 28 minutes or something on the clock. I remember thinking, there must be under a minute left and we're going to lose. This is just so devastating.
Yeah.
But then it came back down, and there was a little period where De Goey and Taylor Adams had a shot on the goal from like 10 metres out that both got smothered. One got kicked into someone, the next one got smothered. It was just so hot. It was genuine, the hottest footy of all time.
That gets forgotten about. That gets forgotten about. There's a period of play. They have genuinely not two. There's about 6 shots on goal in the space of about 30 seconds, and there's 4 smothers. Just like, and De Goey's had 3 of them. So I don't know how he doesn't kick one. I'm on him the whole time.
Do you think if they get a point there?
Point's probably good for us. We get the ball back.
Yep.
So the fact that it was bouncing around, and then we get a little chip, like we get a chip out, and Duggo gets it, chips it out to Cripps or someone, and they kick it out, and that's when the Scully moment happens.
Yeah, that's actually why I watched it, because I remember it came up on YouTube, so I thought I'd watch Scully talk about it. And there was this chaos, Smaller, chaos, and then that's when
what's the Scully moment?
Scully moment's the moment, but no one talks about me being involved in the moment.
I've got a TV moment for you too that I reckon gets glossed over.
It's the McGovern to Vardy to Ryan to Sheed. Well, I started it by doing whatever the fuck I wanted and heading to the middle of the ground while all that was happening. After that scrimmage, I just started running down the middle of the ground because with 2 minutes to go, I thought there's probably under 2 minutes. I either sit in the goal square like I was told on De Goey, or I run down the middle of the ground and try and win it for us. And I just thought, well, Roll the dice, baby. Let's go.
Young players, that is exactly what they say not to do. Play, roll.
No, it was like calculated to a point. We had the ball. We're kicking long down the line to JD, who was hot that half, and I thought, I can get it. It didn't work out that way, and Gov was sucking to goey, and that's when the moment starts.
But before that,
before
the moment, because I did literally just watch this last week. You're sprinting down the middle, and if there is literally one kick over, you're free in the 50. Like you could.
I'm not lying about this. People think I've got mail.
You legit could have kicked if the ball fell to you. You could have ran to the 50 by yourself.
There was no one there.
There was no one. The goal for a win.
No one. I was in the middle of the MCG, as you say, dreamt of it as a young man winning the grand final and the glory of winning a premiership. And I was in the middle of the G, but literally no one around me. All that needs to happen is Jack Dowling wins his 7th contest of the half, kicks it to me, and I kick a goal.
Yeah, I know about this one. I want to hear the TV moment.
What's the TV
TV one? Oh, sorry, I thought your moment was going to be more gloatful. I feel a bit embarrassed now.
Oh, please tell me. Bad luck.
But it was a touch. I touched the ball with maybe 5 minutes to go. We put Collingwood 2 goals up, game's over. Maybe 3 minutes to go, just before it all happened. And I've sort of gone to get Mason Cox and put my forearms into him.
I remember this.
And noticed it was going over my head and sort of turned like this and went like that.
It was a
review. And it was a review and it just clipped my fingers.
Little finger.
Oh, it was a kick.
And it went straight through the goals. And so everyone went crazy.
Did they call it a goal or they call it touch?
Well, I don't think he was sure. I think he might have called it touch, but it went through the goals and the crowd went wild and I stuck my hand up not knowing whether
it was literally a little finger.
Well, because sometimes you touch them and the TV cameras just can't see it. Yeah. They just can't see it, and it just nicked it, and I just nicked it.
Your pinky just went
like
back.
Just sort of these 2 fingers here just scraped. And luckily enough, there was a camera right on me, and it displayed the touched, and it was all good.
All right, siren goes. We win the grand final. What's the reaction?
So this is a part I don't remember at all, but retrospectively, just, I don't even know what you call that motion, but squeezed my fists and got onto one knee and screamed, and then ran as fast as I could and went to hug Bunga, and Bunga, who is the strongest man in the world, like armed me, and so I've sort of gone to hug him and he's armed me and kept running with me under his arm, and so I've kept running over towards the rest of the backs, and we all get into this big huddle and start screaming, and then I remember I was screaming so hard that I was starting to see colours and sort of hallucinate, and so I had to get on my haunches and have a couple of deep breaths and put my mouth guard in my sock, and then get on to the rest of the boys. So there was just complete and utter joy.
I've got some stuff to do post premiership, so we're going to keep moving, but I want to read, this is a little bit from you actually. You spoke about the feeling of winning a grand final in the podcast we did here on BackChat in 2019. So we had a question from Michael_John_Watkins. I've stolen it out of social media, Dan. Sorry, mate. So, Tom, you were criticised after the 2018 premiership for saying you felt a little bit directionless. Yet since then, your performance has been remarkably reliable. Do you think lessons can be learned from this regarding self-awareness, both for athletes and in general life? How about that? Yeah, it's a good question. I want to read you your quote. I've got your word for word here, all right? So this is from 2019. This is 6 months out from winning the flag. You've got an idea about what an experience like that, winning a grand final, will be like, and you've formed an idea from when you were a very young child, and seeing Sam Butler, Benny Cousins and the like on your wall with the cup and the medal, you think it's going to give you this endless sense of fulfillment because it's all you've ever wanted. Barrass said on BackChat podcast. You go through this experience, it's so different to what you first imagined in all sorts of ways, and you notice in a month's time or in 3 months' time or whatever, it's not everything that it was meant to be in your mind. And that doesn't mean it wasn't a letdown. I loved every second of it, but it was so different to how I always pictured it that I think it leaves you a little bit directionless for a while. Now, as we like to do on this podcast, Media Watch, they took directionless for a little while. Like Tom Barrass, directionless under winning the premiership. That's why West Coast is so shit at the moment. But if you listen to that quote in context, I think you're saying you built this up for your entire life. You won a premiership. and it wasn't what you expected. So it changed the
Absolutely.
way you thought about it.
Yeah.
How do you think about that now?
Mate, that's exactly it. And I suppose it's prompted thought into how you define yourself and your identity and what's important to you, if it's not being the best footballer and the champion, and, you know, all those things that you first thought were sort of cool and interesting, which still have value. And it's nice to have recognition for lots of hard work. But, yeah, the difference was, I suppose, is that you think it's going to change who you are, and it doesn't. You're still you. And all the things that make you are not completely different, but they're not what you thought it were. It wasn't because you played for West Coast and because everyone, you know, respected your ability and respected you as a bloke. It's because you've got a great family and that you're nice to your mates and you guys have fun time together, and that, you know, I've learnt more that you contribute to ideas you believe in and, you know, helping people. And you also try and contribute to the arts and express yourself and create and, you know, be playful. And I think that that's one of the things I learned through that, and what that quote's trying to entail, and its ties to conditioning, which I mentioned earlier, is that lots of people, including myself, live their lives via analogy of a journey, you know. It's like, oh, you're on this journey and, you know, you're in high school, right, and the year 12's coming and it's coming, you're going to get, you know, your ATAR, and then get to uni and, the good things coming, and goes all the way, right, until you win the flag and you're like, it's here. You know, what is this? And you realise that it was a musical thing, and you were meant to be dancing and playing, you know, and that you should have been thinking about it as life by analogy to music, you know, where that was a lesson I was able to learn at that time, rather than being 40, where most people learn it and they have identity crisis, because it's like, wow, who am I? I'm just wasting my whole life trying to get to this place that doesn't exist. So it was a little bit of that. It was a bit like, wow, okay, you know, achievements, however big they may be, just are dwarfed by how I am or how you are with someone in the next moment. And then, you know, how you feel when you're being nice to someone, and how you feel when you're just playing footy and trying to progress the game and progress others with it, if you feel me.